Sign a 2016 performance agreement contract.
Ministry of Roads and Highways to intensify supervision of road contracts.
And in Eastern African countries to ban imports of used clothes and second-hand cars by 2019. Thank you for selecting GBC24. Time to bring you News Hour, coming to you from Broadcasting House here in Accra. My name is Gifty Eji.
And my name is Akpene Avo Ajaja. Thanks so much for joining us for the news. Robert Frimpomanso will do the sign language translation of the news.
Now the stories. All 10 regional ministers on Wednesday signed performance agreement contract with their coordinating directors.
The Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Debra, challenged the ministers to mobilize and utilize the human, financial and material resources within their jurisdictions to achieve the set goals by the close of the contract period.
1990s performance of public service organizations in Ghana was assessed through annual reports and financial statements as audited by the Auditor General's Department. Individual employee performance was assessed through annual confidential reports. This system was fraught with problems and abuses that made its credibility and usefulness questionable. The performance management system, which was first adopted by the local government service in January 2015, is in its second year. The head of local government service, Dr. Callistus Mahama, said the evolving nature of the service emphasizes the need to put in place an effective mechanism to, first of all, monitor and secondly, give feedback on their performance. Reviewing last year's performance contract, he cited lack of budgetary support and vehicles as some areas that should change this year. The Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Debra, noted that the new phase of the public service underscores the need to work hard to change the negative perceptions of society about the roles of the assemblies in the country.
If people come to our offices as if we are doing them a favor, I experience it every day. It's because there's something wrong. And sometimes you walk into an office and somebody, she's so busy with the latest thing. What's up? And the fellow is forgotten that they're using the public purse to pay him. And clients, they won't walk into our office, our clients. They want to walk back satisfied and happy. So the moment we are able to move from this realm of Abanjuma to imagine that we are even working in the corporate world, it's also beautiful.
The process, which was supervised by the head of local government service, Dr. Callistus Mahama, emanates from the Local Government Service Act, Act 656/2003, which provides the performance management framework for workers. For GBC24, Shirley Bewa reporting.
And away from that story, Parliament is to approve a grant of over $498 million for the second Millennium Challenge Compact between Ghana and the United States through the Millennium Challenge Corporation and the Millennium Development Authority, MIDA. Ghana is to contribute $37,365,000 of the grant. This was laid before the lawmakers on Wednesday for consideration. The Member of Parliament for Ablekuma South, Mr. Fred Bafo, moved the motion to congratulate President John Mahama for delivering the State of the Nation's address, describing it as a masterpiece.
His Excellency the President gave an address which was a masterful piece. His address was upbeat and tinged with uncharacteristic candor.
The 2000-2009 statistical report from the Ministry of Roads was also presented to the House by the Member of Parliament for Ejisu. He said access roads in farming communities have become unmotorable due to lack of maintenance. The Member of Parliament for Adeklu, Governs Kwame Agbuja, drew the attention of the House that figures presented by the MP for Ejisu were incorrect.
We realize that in Ghana, we have most of our roads which we refer to as missing links. Some of them are not accessible. And these were roads that were opened up during the NPP administration, mostly in the hinterlands and in our towns.
I remember, you know what? Statistics about what he believes he's done, which is different from what my brother and my colleague is reading, because he talks about numbers which are completely. I remember, you know what you can do when it gets to it.
The Deputy Minister for Agric in charge of crops, Ahmed Al-Hassan Yakubu, presented a report from his ministry on interventions being put in place by the government on the 4 main agricultural projects highlighted in the State of the Nation address: the report for the Rights to Information Bill, the Procurement Amendment Bill, the Securities Industry Bill 2015, and a grant of over $495 million for the second Millennium Challenge Compact between the government of Ghana and the United States were laid before the House for consideration and approval. Sitting continues tomorrow.
The Ministry of Roads and Highways has observed that some roads constructed in recent times are unable to last long as they should, citing lack of monitoring and supervision by government engineers. At this year's retreat of the road sector at Ho, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Alhaji Inusa Fusheni, gave an indication that he will punish any of his staff found complicit in any unethical behavior leading to poor road construction. A report by Nuto Bibini Nuto.
It is a statement of fact that road construction does not only help expand the infrastructure base of the country, but also drives growth and economic development. The onus therefore lies on the Roads and Highways Ministry to provide motorable, sustainable road networks such as the Kwame Nkrumah Interchange, Awoshi Pokwase Highway, the Adomi Bridge, George Walker Bush Highway, and several others that spur development. This year's meeting focuses on consolidating national efforts towards better road infrastructure, maintenance and financing. A theme is in sync with government's vision and that of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 9, which encourages members to build resilient infrastructure and foster innovation. Though the roads sector has seen much investment and improvement since the last 3 years, Deputy Ministers of the Volta region and Roads and Highways believe periodic maintenance and regular supervision are needed to get value for monies invested while encouraging public-private partnership ventures into commercially viable roads to the benefit of the citizenry. Sector Minister Alhaji Inusa Fusheni said the national road network has increased from about 67,000 kilometers in 2008 to more than 71,000 kilometers in 2014. This, coupled with the demand from the citizenry for their roads to be constructed, put a financial burden on government which should not make room for any shoddy work.
My recent project monitoring visits and interactions with the media, as well as the good people of Ghana, have revealed that recently completed road projects are deteriorating at a faster rate than expected. One of the several reasons ascribed to this occurrence is the lack of adequate supervision of the projects. I wish to inform you that the ministry will rigidly enforce disciplinary sanctions on any staff who is found to be negligent in the administration of their contracts or involved in activities that compromise their integrity and result in financial loss to the government.
Cognizant of the fact that the road sector accounts for 97% of passenger traffic and 95% of freight, participants, including civil engineers, road contractors, and members of the Institute of Engineers, will be locked up in the frank, dispassionate deliberations that seek to remove all bottlenecks to sustainable road construction in the country. GBC24.
Now back to the capital, where the Ghana National Fire Service has unveiled a new firefighting team. The all-female team is expected to support the effort of their male counterparts to battle fires in the country. The team is the first of its kind on the continent.
Fighting, like all other sectors, requires special skills for effective output. The Ghana National Fire Service identifies the peculiar skills in women as useful to the cause of the service. The fire service refers to several studies and concludes that any frontline role women are assigned does not end in failures. The report indicates that when women acquire special skills, they are most able to deliver on the job. These prompted the service to establish an all-female firefighting team in the belief that the unique potential in women will be brought to bear in the difficult task of containing infernos. The team is oriented on rescue missions on high-rise buildings, floods, and other life-threatening situations. The service has also trained a team called Community Fire Service Educators. This group will be part of the communities and educate residents on the best ways to prevent fires and disasters. About 70 women drawn from the Greater Accra region have been trained on this assignment. The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nana Oyelitha, charged the new team to exhibit professionalism in any attempt to contain fires and other disasters. Ghana has been experiencing fire disasters on a scale that passes for a state of emergency. Often, the situation has been blamed on electrical faults, negligence, arid weather conditions, and to some extent, arson.
You are pioneers in this regard, the first ever force, and you need to lead exemplary lives. You need to ensure that every operation you go on is executed with perfection, accuracy, and efficiency.
The Chief Fire Officer, Dr. Albert Brown-Gracie, was optimistic that the all-female firefighting team will help in the response to fire outbreaks in the country.
Fire safety is a shared responsibility. It requires a multi-sectorial approach, and everybody's role is important. Fire is a good servant, but a bad master. So I believe that this unit will take up the challenge, take out that customary, traditional, and historical views that firefighting is only the exclusive business of men.
The Ghana National Fire Service says it is poised to tackle all disasters professionally to reduce the security threat the incident poses to people.
At the education unit of the Methodist Church meeting, Mrs. Matilda Misa Arthur encouraged teachers and students to uphold the Christian virtues and discipline of Methodism. At the same ceremony, the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, the Most Reverend Titus Awotri Pratt, urged priests to actively get involved in the education units of the church. A report by Theodora Amedeto.
Education has been an integral part of the mission of the Methodist Church dating back to 1836, when the first missionaries arrived in Cape Coast and established the Wesley Girls' School and subsequent ones. Since then, the mission has partnered the government in quality education delivery. The presiding bishop of the Methodist Church Ghana, Most Reverend Titus Awotri Pratt, entreated priests who have schools attached to the various branches of the church to take keen interest in the running of the schools to ensure the delivery of quality education to the young ones.
When we lost touch and hold on our schools, discipline has been diluted, but we haven't lost hope. Hence, this week, we want to drum it home, first to all Methodist ministers, that it is our duty to ensure that our schools are catered for and cared for. In the Accra Diocese, we have set up a fund to assist our schools. I hope and pray that all of the dioceses will copy.
The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Misa Arthur, noted that discipline remains the hallmark of the church, and that has contributed to the success of Methodist education institutions.
I want to encourage you that you are in school to learn hard and pass, but you are also in school to come out as whole boys and girls who will not be found wanting, who, when something is going wrong, will stand for the truth, who, when there's a need to be honest, your teacher can say, I can vouch for this girl, I can vouch for this boy, who, when you go to the university, you will be those who will stand for the truth, who, when you start working, you will not be found as one of those who have cut corners or have embezzled money.
During the week-long education event, students of the various Methodist basic and senior high schools would participate in activities such as a lecture on the theme Upholding the Wesleyan Identity in Methodist Schools for Social Impact, a quiz and hymn singing competition, and a church parade. The event would be climaxed with a Thanksgiving service. Theodore Amedeto, GBC24, Accra.
Just joined us, you watch News Hour on GBC24. In other stories, the president of the Bonahafo Regional House of Chiefs is urging chiefs to be circumspect in their utterances and avoid being associated with any political party in the run-up to the November polls. Pema Pemiyao Kabrese said chiefs are not only leaders but fathers for all in their community and should avoid being partisan in order to maintain their good image as rulers. Nana Kabiesi was speaking at a meeting of the Bonahafo Regional House of Chiefs in Sunyai.
The president of the House of Chiefs in his address revealed that the Judicial Committee of the House recorded 60 chieftaincy disputes. 10 of these disputes have been resolved. He commended the kingmakers, elders and the acting president of Abiaze Traditional Area, Nana Amwitia, for finding an amicable solution to the long-running chieftaincy disputes in the area. Nana Kabresi urged other traditional areas involved in chieftaincy disputes to follow the example of the Abiaze Traditional Area by resolving their disputes peacefully. Nana Kabrese revealed that the House will soon organize a workshop on chieftaincy to improve the capacity of members in order to prevent and better manage chieftaincy disputes in the region. New members, including the president of the Ntotroso Traditional Council, Berima Chureku Ampim, and president of Abiaze Traditional Council, Obrimpong Kru Techi, were sworn into the House.
Ghana nearly recorded another Black Wednesday. This time round, no life was lost in the accident, which saw a gas truck belonging to the Trinity Oil Company overturned and spilled the gas onto the road. The accident occurred at the White Cross Junction at Weija on the Malam Kaswa Road.
According to Philip Donko, an eyewitness who described how the accident occurred, a private car, upon negotiating a U-turn at White Cross Junction, crossed the gas truck, but the gas truck driver, in an attempt to prevent a collision, climbed the median strip of the highway and overturned the vehicle.
Around 4:30, and I assembled here. Saturday night with them. Timiyan said there's a noise. Crowd them see be a car na bobi because accident as see her. Timi pay by and be who say a gas tanker na enya accident no. Nana a driver ne meeting kwana na e wom. Na ye yi omu pay no na driver ne kire say car bi na e cross no no na bi senko or dodgy. See oil say or dodgy no na a full pavement no. To ho gas ne be eliki. And tina gas ni etu gas ni etu fa area ha nyina na gas ni etu afa ba bia nyame kra ni say eja bia ni area ha ba bi ana say ka bi amaye bibi sana ama eja ntuma nya sada anka the whole of this area there ka right now no is on fire.
Personnel from the fire service, the police service and NADMO were at the spot managing the situation. The police directed the flow of traffic to ease the traffic congestion. Fire personnel, in order to control the gas leakage and prevent an ignition, sprayed the gas truck with a foam compound. DCOP George Akufudampare cautioned road users to be careful.
We've been able to clear the road, and the road is 100% open to traffic, even though we have challenges with traffic from Kasua to Accra stretch. which we still have MTTU people all over the place. And we are going to also have the SWAT teams to be supporting the MTTU. And we'll manage the situation until the situation comes to its original normalcy.
The gas truck was eventually towed by the Road Safety Commission to ease traffic. The driver of the truck and his mate are reported to have been taken to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and are receiving treatment.
Now, 3 persons are reported to have died in a road accident in the early hours on Wednesday on the Tema-Akusumbo Highway. The accident involved a Kofodia-bound urban bus, which was reported to have veered off when its rear ball joint got detached from the vehicle. The accident occurred between Isuchari and the Shai Hills. 24 has learned that several complaints from some passengers to the driver about an unusual noise on the vehicle went unheeded. The bodies of the deceased have been deposited at the Tema General Hospital whilst the injured are being treated. Maurice Ogbete is standing by with business. Stay with us.
Hello again, my name is Maurice Ogbete. Let's do business, brought to you by SIC, Airtel and Ernest Chemist. Now, the year-on-year inflation rate as measured by the Consumer Price Index, CPI, recorded in February declined by 0.05 percentage points compared to January. For the same month of February, the year-on-year inflation stood at 18.5% compared to 19% in January.
The Food and Non-Alcoholic Beverages Group recorded a year-on-year inflation rate of 8.3%. This is 0.1 percentage points higher than the 8.2% recorded in January 2016. The price drivers for the food inflation rate were mineral water, soft drinks, fruit and vegetable juices, coffee, tea and cocoa. The non-food group recorded a year-on-year inflation rate of 24.5% in February 2016 compared to the 25.5% recorded for January 2016. Housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels recorded the highest inflation of 41.0%, followed by transport with 30.4%, education with 25.4%, and recreation and culture with 25.3%. The acting deputy government statistician, Mr. Anthony Amuzu, said inflation was lowest in the communication subgroup, which recorded 14.5%.
For the imported items, the rate of inflation for February 2016 was 18.3%. This compares with the 18.7% recorded in January 2016. Now, for the locally produced items, a rate of 18.6% was recorded in February 2016, compared with the 19.1% that was recorded in January 2016.
At the regional levels, the year-on-year inflation rate ranged from 13.8% in the Upper East region to 22.0% in the Greater Accra region. Bono Ahafo, Ashanti and Greater Accra recorded inflation rates above the national average of 18.5%. The Consumer Price Index measures the change over time in the general price levels of goods and services that households acquire for the purpose of consumption. Beatrice Senaju, GBC24, Accra.
As the inflation has dropped from 19% to 18.5%. Now, the president of the Association of Ghana Industries, James Asareje, says the disconnect between academia and industry in the training of the country's human resources is making local industries uncompetitive on the international scene. Mr. Asareje indicated at the Skills Hub Forum in Accra that even indigenous industries are hiring foreign labor to fill the gaps created.
Statistics from the British Council indicate that 1.8 billion young people across the world are neither employed nor in any kind of formal training. One is the result of lack of job opportunities, while the other the reason for ineligibility for jobs. A case of population bulge disproportionate with pace of economic expansion. Projecting with demographic analysis warns that just 40% of the next 1 billion youth in the foreseeable future are likely to get decent employment. This is set to worsen the global unemployment situation, hence the move by the British Council to establish the Skills Hub. The Skills Hub is a platform aimed at boosting the employable and professional skills of young Ghanaians in both the physical and virtual space. The hub will also afford young people the opportunity to upgrade their skills and enhance their productivity in their workplace. It was established by the British Council in collaboration with the Rockefeller Foundation and Barclays Ghana to train 1,000 young Ghanaians. 2 district product lines have been created for the Skills Hub: the Entrepreneur Pathways and Corporate Pathways. These are built on extensive research which shows the skills required and relevance for each level of personal development. The British High Commissioner to Ghana, John Benjamin, underscored the need for collaboration between academia and industry.
This should be seen simply as an investment in the long-term productivity of a country as a whole, rather than as simply as some kind of charitable effort. When Ghana has more skilled labour, industry will be the primary beneficiary and therefore the whole national economy.
The president of the AGI, James Asari-Ejay, said most of the courses being run by academic training institutions do not reflect the changing demands of industry and the economy as a whole.
Some critical areas like applied pneumatics, hydraulics, programmable logic control, systems automation, just to mention a few, are areas where there's a huge deficiency. Currently, a lot more indigenous Ghanaian industries are hiring from India, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Vietnam to fill these skills gaps. This has necessitated the call, as I said, for faculties in the country's tertiary institutions to undertake periodic industrial orientation in companies to be abreast with the rapidly changing manpower requirements of industry.
The Skills Hub was set up by the British Council, and it is a virtual and physical resource center which offers a range of paid-for products and services. Its overall objective is to empower young Ghanaians to become employable and productive on the job market.
Let's go to the interbank market, where the cedi inched up a peso against the euro. It lost a peso against the pound sterling. The local currency, however, maintained its value against the US dollar. On the international commodities market, light crude increased in price by 54 cents to sell at $37.04 per barrel. Cocoa and gold, however, dipped by $7 and $3 respectively. With the insurance news after this break, stay with us. Insurance news is brought to you by SIC Life. Now, funeral insurance is designed to relieve families of financial burden during times of bereavement. This product has been in existence in Ghana for decades, but providers of this service say the patronage is gradually picking up.
We all know that death will occur someday, but as to when death would occur, none of us has an idea. And many times also we think that death is about the next person and not me. It could happen to anybody at any time. And that is the reason one needs to make financial provisions in the event that there is death to oneself, spouse, parents-in-law, and even children. Premiums payable depend on the ages of all the people being insured. Now, signing on to the policy, you cannot make a claim within 6 months. There's something we call the waiting period, and this waiting period is such that not because you know somebody is going to die in the next 1 month or 2 months, then you come and buy an insurance policy. We can only pay within the 6 months if the death is as a result of an accident. It works like magic. Death strikes when you're really broke, and funeral policies will just come to your rescue. At least it might not be able to take care of the entire funeral, but to some extent to be able to mitigate the effects of the costs. Let's assume even your parents or even your own husband could have an insurance policy and might not have told you. And the unfortunate happens, he passes on. The insurance company typically would follow up because we'll discover that premiums are no longer coming. And then we'll follow up and then we'll get to know that this person is no more. And then based on the information provided on the next of kin, we'll let you know.
And that was insurance news brought to you by SIC Live. News that continues right after this break. Stay with us.
You're welcome back. Welcome to the health segment of the news brought to you by FPAC. FPAC blows your pain away. The absence of a legislation to regulate blood transfusion services in the country is said to hamper the efficiency of the National Blood Service. At a review meeting in Accra, it was revealed that the service failed to meet its 50% target for blood donated by voluntary, non-remunerated blood donors. Much of the reason attributed to this shortfall is the absence of incentives for voluntary donors who are obliged to pay the same amount as non-voluntary donors for processing blood when they require transfusion. A report by Sarah Ofori.
The National Blood Service has 3 zones through which people could access their services: the Southern, Central and Northern area blood centers. The Southern area serves the Western, Eastern, Central, the Greater Accra and the Volta regions. The Central area serves the Ashanti and Bunahafo regions, while the Northern area serves the 3 regions of the North. Their core duty is to save the lives of patients by providing safe, adequate and efficacious blood products and related services. The National Blood Service depends on voluntary, non-remunerated blood donations and family replacement donations, although the former is mostly preferred. 2015 and the review saw a marginal increase in the voluntary, non-remunerated blood donations by 34%, 4% up from the 2014 figure of 30%. Presenting an overview of the year's activities across the country, it was revealed that inadequate skilled staff, funding, logistics, inappropriate office space, unreliable provision of essential and standard consumables, among other challenges, are hampering the work of the National Blood Service. Obstetrics and gynecology demanded blood services most, since studies reveal that the prevalence of HIV among blood donors is 1.92%. The Ghana AIDS Commission says it will work together with the National Blood Service to ensure that mothers and their children receive safe blood. The National Blood Service still hopes to achieve a 50% target in the voluntary non-remunerated blood donations this year. It is, however, appealing for the speedy passage of the legislation to give it the legal backing to regulate blood-related services.
Now, as part of their corporate social responsibility to less deprived areas in the country, Focus Orthopedic Hospital has donated 6 orthopedic beds to the people of Pru East constituency in the Bono-Ahafo region. This is to help relieve pressure on the medical facilities in the constituency.
Lack of infrastructure and equipment continues to affect healthcare delivery in some parts of the country. Health facilities in the Pru district fall into this category. The beds, which can be operated by hand or by electricity, cost $3,000 each, bringing the total cost of the beds to $18,000. Donating the beds, the chief administrator of the hospital, Letitia Osepoku, gave insight into what led them to make the donation.
At the moment, we have enough beds, and so we believe that it is only our duty and responsibility to ensure that another facility gets to enjoy it. So that is why we want to present your facility with these beds.
On behalf of the constituents of Pru East, Mr. Masaudu Mohammed thanked the hospital and called on other individuals and corporate entities to help improve conditions of the facility.
It is my humble request that in future more and more of such donations will be made to this facility so that we'll be able to upgrade the services that we deliver to our people.
That's all by way of health news. We take a break here and come back. Join us.
Welcome. Time to take you around the world. East African countries are likely to ban imports of used clothes and second-hand cars by 2019, putting an end to a lucrative trade in the region. Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania and Uganda could all ban second-hand clothes and leather. They make up the East African community. The community has directed member countries to buy their textiles and shoes from within the region with a view of phasing out imports by 2019. Macedonia has said it will no longer let any migrants through its border with Greece, effectively blocking the Balkan route north. The decision came after Slovenia barred access to migrants transiting the country. Croatia and Serbia then said they would follow suit. Some 13,000 migrants are now stranded at the Macedonia-Greece border. The moves come after the EU and Turkey set out a plan to ease Europe's biggest refugee crisis since World War II. Under the plan still to be finalized, all migrants arriving in Greece from Turkey would be sent back. For each Syrian returned, a Syrian in Turkey would be resettled in the EU. European Council President Donald Tusk has said there would no longer be a path to Europe for migrants. That was the international news. Coming up is sports.
Good evening, time for some updates from the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. We are being powered by Ejapia's Tornado Bitters and Lonat. Let's start off on a pugilism note. The Ghana Amateur Boxing Federation has sent a 9-man team to Yaoundé. The 9 will battle for tickets to this year's Rio Olympic Games.
The Boxing Championship is the premier continental annual competition for amateur boxing in Africa.
This year's edition is also serving as qualifiers for the impending 2016 Rio Olympics. The championship starts on Wednesday, the 9th of March, and will end on the 20th of March this year. The president of the Ghana Amateur Boxing Federation, Gideon Quarty, says due to some financial challenges, they are sending 9 out of the initial 12 boxers. The 9 are made up of 8 male bombers and a female bomber, Ramatu Kwei. Accompanying the team are 3 technical directors. The federation is hopeful that the team will put up a good show in Cameroon to qualify for the multi-sport event in Rio. This belief comes on the heels of a string of outstanding performances by the team at a tryout championship in Benin 2 weeks ago. At the last Olympic Games in London, only 4 black bombers qualified, and the federation says they want to get more boxers there this time round. Civilian volleyball teams in the capital have tested their battle readiness for this year's Greater Accra Volleyball League. The league will start on March 17.
The 2016 Greater Accra Volleyball League will start on the 17th of March this year at the various league centers in the region. Police Service, Prison Service, Immigration Service, Air Force, Army and the National Fire Service will join other civilian teams to battle for the honors at stake. As part of preparations for the start of the league, a traditional curtain raiser has been held at the Ghana Prisons Volleyball Court. Teams including the Town Council Line TCL men and women's volleyball teams, Osu, La and Medina teams participated. In the finals of the women's event, defending champions the TCL in the green and yellow jersey recorded an impressive 2-1 victory over La Ladies to carry the day. Here are some reactions.
After the league, the winner travels out to play against other countries. So it is my belief that we are going to win.
We have about 14 clubs participating in the competition. We have 12 ladies team and the 14 men, including the security services.
The leadership of the Greater Accra Regional Volleyball Association say they are hoping to get a sponsor for the league.
To the beaches now, where the African Angels Beach Soccer Club recorded a win in the ongoing National Beach Soccer League. They beat Winneba Giants by 5-3. The Cowbank Beach Soccer League entered week 19 at the weekend. 43 goals were scored when the 16 teams clashed at the Labuma Beach Soccer Arena. The top of the table clash was the pairing between the Winneba Giants and the African Angels. African Angels star Evans Brown recorded a hat-trick on the day, whilst Winneba Giants Daniel Ama also had a praise. But that was not enough, as African Angels carried the day. Here are some reactions from some coaches.
My team is on fire now. We've played 3 matches in the second round, and you know we've won all. And this is not what we are looking at. We are looking at playing teams that are more competitive. That will strengthen my team to get the best out of them.
They are below us, and then our strategy is to beat all those that are under us. So we came determined to beat them, and God willing, we are able to score them.
We are having some technical problem with the coaches, so I think maybe in our next game we will do very well.
The following are the results after match day 19. African Angels 5, Winneba Giants 3, Tesh United 3, Tema United 0, Wogbe 4, Golden Eagles 4, Sea Lions 4, Layoka 1, Tegbe Youth 0, Haveji Mighty Warriors 3, Nima B Soccer Club 0, Dansoman B Soccer Club 3, Golf Flowers 3, Adan Assurance 0, Nungwa B Soccer Club 4, Sunset Sports 6. The league continues next Saturday at the Labuma B Soccer Arena. Finally, for the first time, a Marine Sports Festival has taken place at the Tema Sports Stadium. The event attracted staff from 4 institutions at the Tema Port. The aim was for members to socialize and strengthen the bond of unity.
Members of staff of the Ghana Shippers Authority, the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, the Ship Owners Association and the Tema Metropolitan Assembly converged on the Tema Sports Stadium for the first ever Maritime Sports Festival. Participants participated in disciplines such as football, volleyball, sack race, table tennis, draught, lime and spoon race, among others. The technical director for the sports festival, Francis Abrompa, said The event has helped in networking and in the promotion of a healthy workforce.
We felt it's necessary to organize this program first to put them on the healthy grounds because of the nature of the work, to make sure that they fraternize and get to know each other, to reduce the competition among them, and then above all to bring that kind of brotherliness among the industry.
Organizers say the next edition will be bigger and better.
That's all for sports.
Hello, good evening. Time for some arts news. My name is Valerie Danso. The Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Mrs. Elizabeth Ofosu-Jari, says her outfit would ensure that the annual paragliding festival at Kwewu is replicated in other parts of the country. It is observed that paragliding boosts domestic tourism. She said these at the launch of this year's Kwewu Paragliding Festival in Accra.
The Paragliding Festival is one of the flagship events on the tourism calendar. It is held every year by the Ghana Tourism Authority under the auspices of the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts to coincide with the Easter celebration. Every year, people troop to Kwewu and its environs to entertain themselves and have a feel of the paragliding. This year's event will start from Friday, 25th of March to Sunday, the 27th of March at the Oduanoma Mountains in Kwewu. According to the Tourism Minister, Mrs. Elizabeth Ofosu-Jari, the latest shining star of Ghana, Ibrahim Atta, will also be hosted alongside his friends and family at the festival. Officials of the ministry will hold discussions with Ibrahim Atta on a package that will see him become Ghana's tourism ambassador.
For the first time, the Ghana Dance Company will be in attendance to treat us to a lot of cultural dances. The most interesting aspect will be where you get the opportunity to learn one dance of your choice. If, for example, you are an avid that you don't even know how to dance Agbaja properly, there is a small tutorial for you to do a few steps in Agbaja. It's going to be fun.
According to the Tourism Minister, this year's Paragliding Festival is expected to be fun-filled with other activities aside from paragliding. Bisakaide's Mansa was unveiled as the theme song for the 2016 Kwewu Paragliding Festival.
Je Nyame and Nyansa Po are names of Edinkra symbols. Edinkra symbols appear on traditional Akan gold weights. The symbols are also carved on stools for domestic and other uses. In the past, they were hand-printed on cotton fabric, depending on the occasion and the role of the one wearing the fabric. Now, they are frequently mass-produced on brighter colored fabrics. Record producer Sir George Martin, known in show business as the Fifth Beatle, has died aged 90. Sir George signed the Beatles and produced more than 700 records. That's it for the segment. The weather report comes up next.
And thank you for joining us on News Hour. We'll be back at 10:30 with News Tonight.
Good evening.